Ito ang Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang naiba at kakaibang plataporma sa digital broadcast. Mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao hanggang sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang sandigan ng sambayanan mula sa walang labis at walang kulang na pagbabalita, paglilingkod, maglalahad ng mga mapagbuong komentaryo at usaping pambayan para sa kapakanan ng karamihan. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, tuwirang maglilingkod ngayon hanggang sa susunod na henerasyon. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techiemommy, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hello, happy Monday everyone. Happy Easter po, no? Happy Easter, and I trust po everyone hindi naman sasabing celebrated Easter or yung the risen Christ po hapon. However way you spent your Holy Week, sana po that you actually experienced it all safely at nagkaroon po tayo ng time mag-reflect po and to think about the real reasons of the season of Lent, no? Kami po, of course, separately, no, ng mga pamilya ko po sa Manila, they went out of town, like yung tradition po ng family namin na nag-outing, yung mga Bautista family po, Winikis, saka yung mga Manikis, mga ate ko po, nasa bahay lang sila. But kami po rito, yung mga Laka po, coincidentally po, birthday din po ng aming si Tita Priscilla Maniago. Kaarawan din po niya yesterday. So, nag-celebrate na rin po kami ng Easter Sunday doon sa barrio sa Bacolor, Pampanga, where we celebrated both, of course, Easter Sunday and the birthday of our dear Tita Pri Maniago. Happy birthday, Tita, ulit. And doon po yung mga Lakap family. We, of course, shared meals and kwentos and prayers. So, and everybody else, I heard napakadaming tao, of course, sa Tagaytay, sa Batangas, and yun na nga sa Baguio. Okay, speaking of Baguio, right? Speaking of Baguio, a bit of news, no, tungkol dyan. Maraming tao nagpunta and Baguio's food tourism underway to help restaurants and chefs recover. Ang picture po nito, may napakalaking kawan nagluluto yung mga taga Baguio. Baguio City, as the volume of tourists motoring up to the summer capital is expected to breach the pre-pandemic level. Talaga naman po, ang dami-daming taong pupunta sa Baguio, napaka-traffic na doon. Officials here have decided to restage a well-loved summer event po, yung the Mangan Food Crawl and Exhibition, which will put the spotlight sa mga restaurants po and other food establishments that have started recovering after 2 years of COVID-19 quarantines. According to City Tourism Officer Aloysius Mapalo, it was possible that the City of Pines has already surpassed the number of leisure travelers na quota po ng Baguio who have entered the city prior to the pandemic. Bago po mag-pandemic, broke out noong March 2020, judging from the influx of tourists, okay, who came to Baguio since December of last year. The number peaked tong Holy Week po na ito with over 50,000 guests booked in various accommodation establishments in the city from Palm Sunday po to Easter Sunday. Opo, sabihin po, the week before pa, Nung Palm Sunday pa nag-umpisa na po yung mga dagsanang tao sa Baguio. Baguio's cooler weather draws tourists from March to May and has lined up multiple summer vacation activities from this Holy Week's free bus tours. Aba, may libreng bus tour, maybe. A Session Road Heritage Festival on May 1 to a floral, yung fluvial parade, sculpture exhibition during the May 12 to 22 Sabsabong de Mayo, a variation of the traditional Flores de Mayo. Okay? But being anticipated, ito yung pinakamalaking in-expect po is the Mangan which will be held from April 27 to April 30. Itong April pala to. Mainly by mga restaurant owners. Yung saya magpuntang Baguio, baby. May festival yung restaurants. Many of whom were forced to close during the first 2 years of the pandemic. Okay. Gladys Vergara, chair of the Baguio Tourism Council, said that yung mga restaurants that leased their spaces were among the first to fold or shift businesses nitong pandemic. Nagsarado po yung mga nagpaparenta ng mga real estate at mga commercial establishments, no? Sila yung unang-unang nagsara nitong pandemya. Kasi nga bawal lumabas, leaving only 334 of 1,045 tourism-oriented businesses registered in 2021. So 334 lang po out of 1,000. Okay? Ano ba yan? More than 30%. Okay? With the easing of restrictions as COVID-19 cases declined, downtown food establishments, including hotel-based restaurants, have reported an increase in diners due to the surge of tourists. Diba? Mabuti naman pala. Talaga naman yan eh. Maraming nagsibukasan na maliliit na mga or bagong establishments itong pandemic. Okay. With the easing of restrictions as COVID-19 cases declined, downtown food establishments, including hotel-based restaurants, have reported an increase nga. She said that one of the food businesses that closed had taken out zero-interest government loans on the road to reviving their operations. Yun na nga. So, buti naman po, consider naman po yung mga bangko magbigay ng zero interest na loans para sa mga mag-startup uli or recover or bubuhayin yung kanilang mga close down na negosyo because of the pandemic. The lockdowns also help chefs develop new core businesses. Chef Chavi Rumawak, son of the late Baguio artist Tony Wax Rumawak, and member of early 2000s pop band Session Road, had revisited authentic Cordillera recipes from Ifugao and Mountain Province, which he incorporated into specialty meals of his restaurant, Baguio Mountain Man. Community cuisine, okay? Rumavac and fellow chef Laarni Lourdes Andam, who heads Cordillera Chefs Organization, are leading participants in this year's Mangan Taku. Ang Mangan Taku is Ilocano for Let's Share a Meal, which is organized annually by the Department of Tourism or the DOT. Andam said Baguio culinary experts hope to engage more visitors, stressing that food needs to be experienced. Rumavac added he would want people to embrace gastronomy as a form of art. And I think it is. I believe naman talaga cooking and culinary culinary talent is actually artistic too, because hindi lang po kailangan masarap yung amoy tsaka ang itsura po talaga nagmamatter sa presentation ng pagkain, right? So the 2022 culinary event, which will be held along the reflective pool of Baguio's Wright Park, will promote authentic community cuisine, much like ritual kanyang or ritual feasts, to showcase meals shared the Igurat way, said Jovita Cagonongan, DOT Director for the Cordillera. Outdoor cooking is one of the unique features of Cordillera cuisine, and guests would take home a piece of the feast called what, portions of the communal meal. O nga, pakita ko na nga yung itsura nitong communal meal or yung pagluluto ng outdoors. Alright, let's show it. Okay, let me just pakita natin, no? Sandali lang po. Ay, sorry. Oops. Ulit lang. Okay, please bear with me. I'll just show you. Kasi it's interesting eh. Tingnan na napakalaking kawa. I actually want to show you this because to make sense of what I was saying para ma-envision nyo kung gusto nyo magpunta sa Baguio. Between April 27 to 30 yata po itong Mangan Feeling ko parang masaya. Yan ang outdoor cooking ritual. Oh. Sorry, attention na. Alright, okay. Here it is. This is called the Mangan Festival, okay? Outdoor. Hold on. Okay, so ito po. Isang ano na lang. Less than a minute na lang. Kunin ko lang. Para pakita sa inyo. Kasi interesting po eh. It's cooking outdoors, no? So, inaanyayahan po ang lahat. Ay, ano ba yan nangyari? To participate in those outdoor, itong Mangan Festival sa Baguio. It's very, alright. Ayan po. Okay, there you go. See? Ayan o, nagluluto sila sa labas. Ano ba yan? That is pork. Hindi po yan aso. Ayan o, yung pig. So, may malaking kawa. So, ulit sasabihin ko yung invitation na yan from Baguio. Alright? The Mangan Festival food crawl and exhibition, which will put the spotlight on restaurants and other food establishments that have started recovering after 2 years of the pandemic. Diba? So, ayan po yun. Since this is going to, unang-una po, there's gonna be parang Santa Cruzan dyan sa Baguio, Session Road Heritage Festival on May 1 to a floral sculpture exhibition during the May 12 to 22 Sagsabong Timayo. At ito pinaka-aantay na Mangan Taku, which will be held from April 27 to 30th by restaurant operators who were forced to close down during the first 2 years of the pandemic. Ito po ang kanilang road to recovery effort. Nag-iimbita po sila dahil ano po ito, outdoors, no? Kita niyo po yan, right? Itong tinatawag na community cuisine. Romawak and fellow Chief Laarnila, ayan po sila, yung sa Session Road na chef, ay ma-participate sila dito. Okay? The 2022 culinary event will be held po sa Baguio's Wright Park. Okay? Outdoor cooking is one of the unique features of Cordillera cuisine, and guests would take home a piece of that feast called what, or portions of the communal meal. Okay? Communal meat. Hindi po. Pero pag aso, hindi po ako kumakain. Pasensya na lang po. So, yan. Iba-iba pong lulutuin nila sa kalye. Alright? Okay. And on that note, ayan po. Ayan yung Mangan Taku. Outdoor cooking. Alright. Okay. We're done with that. Okay. So now Duterte vetoes proposed SIM card registration law. Says it needs to be studied further. Ano po ito? Ito po yung pinapropose na i-register po lahat ng SIM cards para sa information, okay? Pero ang Pangulo po is vetoing proposed SIM card registration law because he says that kailangan pa pong ng mas masusing pag-aaral. Presidente Duterte has vetoed the proposal of the subscriber identity module or SIM card or SIM card registration law that seeks the mandatory registration of all such cards and social media accounts. Di ba? Hindi niya po pinayagan. Presidential Communications Secretary and Acting Presidential Spokesperson Martin Andanar, okay, confirmed this in a statement noong last Friday. Okay? The President noted that the inclusion of social media providers registration requirement was not part of the original version of the bill and needs a more thorough study. Mas lalo pang dapat pag-aralan daw. He noted that prior versions only mandated the registration ng mga SIM cards na hindi naman kailangan pati yung profile mo sa Facebook, i-register mo at sabihin yung talagang information mo kung sino ka. Yun nga ang beauty ng internet, di ba? Or na pwede tayong maging we can post anything there na kung hindi kinakailangan yung tayong real identity. But so he noted that prior versions only mandated the registration lang po ng SIM card, hindi ng mga social media accounts. The president, okay, similarly found that certain aspects of state intrusion or the regulation thereof have not been duly defined, discussed, or threshed out in the enrolled bill. With regard to social media registration, itong sinabi ni Martin Andanar, no? Di pa kasi masyadong pinag-aralan yung extent itong gustong gawin na ito. Andanar also said that the President lauds the efforts of Congress in finding ways to address the increasing, kasi ito yung mga incidences ng cybercrimes, yung mga hacking po ng mga government websites at hindi lang yan, pati mga corporate, mga negosyo, yung mga identity theft. That's why the President is lauding the efforts ng Congress and finding ways to address the increasing incidences of cybercrimes and information and communications technology-related offenses. And kasali na dyan, of course, yung mga fake news, right? Misinformation ang tawag. However, he was constrained to disagree with the inclusion of social media, okay, in the measure without providing proper guidelines and definitions thereto, as the same may give rise to a situation of dangerous state intrusion and surveillance, threatening many constitutionally protected rights. So ayaw naman niya maging haphazard na ganun na pati social media, bigla mo na lang siyang i-lock down, right? It is incumbent upon the office of the President to ensure that any stature is consistent with the demands of the Constitution, such as those which guarantee individual privacy and free speech. Itong sinabi ng ating Pangulo through his spokesperson, Martin Andanar. With the development, Malacanang asked the Congress to continue developing effective and strengthened measures that offer citizens a safe and secure online environment, provided that the same would stand judicial scrutiny. Okay? So, doon po, no, sinasabi na hindi pa po pinatupad yung request na yan na iparegister lahat ng SIM cards and pati na social media accounts. Hindi po yan na-approve ng ating Pangulo. So, for now, we still have our confidentiality as far as our data or information, personal information is concerned. Okay? Kasi parang feeling ko parang intrusion yun kung i-register mo yung SIM card mo at pa yung pati social media accounts. Oh well. Okay. More news. Okay. From the Philippines. Well, patuloy pa rin pang pagtulong sa mga victims ng agatuan na nakakalungkot naman kasi po. Hindi pa inaayos nga yung sa Odette. Nagpatong-patong po. Pero yung pati rin yung crash sa China, yun yung mga sad news na nangyari. Anyway, so basta yung mga gusto pong magpadala ng tulong sa Agaton, just, please continue to do so. Right? We continue to pray that the Visayan region is mga apektado ng bagyo. Pati South Africa po, I heard yung floods, no? Survivors are more, and then that they will be able to rise above this. Okay. Anyway, more good news naman po. All right, on the cultural route for sa lifestyle, no? We want to, let me see. So na ba yung ano ko? There you go. Para meet, okay. Ito meet naman tong niluluto. Ito meet the Filipina geologist, okay, who led the discovery of the massive Apolaki caldera. Okay, so let's find out what this is about. Okay, that's the good thing about technology po. We learn about things that are happening as it happens, and at the same time, we are updated po sa mga pangyayari at mga trends at mga upgrades in technology, paano natin mas mapagbuti pa ang ating buhay, or kung paano mag-improve ang lives natin with the help of technology. Okay? Well, anyway, ito po yung news ko tungkol sa meet the Filipino geologist who led the discovery of the massive Apolaki caldera. Okay, it all started with a book. Okay, the cover itself was a photo, an image of the Earth from the moon. One of the earliest siguro yun na images shares Jenny Ann Barreto, the same geophysicist who in 2019 rocked the country with her and her colleagues' findings on Apolaki caldera, spanning around 150 kilometers across at its widest. This underwater volcanic structure in Benham Rise off of Luzon's northern coast paved the way for a few moments of glory for a usually overlooked aspect of the Philippines. But before Barreto led this massive discovery, she started out as a kid with a dream, okay? A dream that ironically enough looked far outside of the earth she now studies. The book in question was an atlas brought home by her journalist father. Ito po yung isang malaking atlas. It was one filled with all the photos and images of the different planets, of the moon. So that got her to dreaming about being an astronaut. Itong sinabi itong si Barreto, okay? Jenny Ann Barreto. Sobrang daming Jenny sa buhay ko mo. Jenny, my sister, of course, and Jenny, my fiancé, and now Jenny, kapitbahay namin, Jenny yung pangalan. Napaligiran talaga ako ng Jenny. Anyway, so that atlas, okay, is a memory from her childhood in Manila. Years before her parents decided to uproot themselves from crazy urbanity and resettle in Kidapawan. Meron din kaming family sa Mindanao. And my parents wanted to move into farming, so they left their jobs in Manila, moved there. Doon ako nag-high school, sabi ito ni Jenny Ann Barreto. It was a huge difference for her. At around 12 years old, she had to learn a new language, a new culture, and perhaps most importantly, she felt a few steps further away from her goal of being an astronaut kasi nabalik siya sa probinsya, no, from Manila. Feeling ko lang mas marami akong resources kung nasa Maynila ako. But I remember my father encouraged me. Sabi niya, why not write a letter? Like, if you wanted to have more resources, sumulat ka sa NASA. At the time, Barreto had heard the U.S. Space Agency had a program of sorts for young astronaut hopefuls. So, she took a chance upon the urging of her father, right? Siguro naghanap lang ako ng general address ng NASA kung ano lang nakita ko kasi wala pang internet noon. Barreto says laughing. This was the 80s after all. Still, the money her family paid for overseas postage was well worth it when sometime later, okay, a package arrived at their home in Cotabato. A reply from NASA, right? It was a package with basic tools, books, and a membership application form for the Young Astronauts Club or program, recalls Barreto. Okay? That package was more than enough fuel to last the aspiring kid until college, where Barreto found herself back in Metro Manila, this time as a student at the University of the Philippines studying metallurgical engineering. Wow. Okay? Let's look at the different side of the Pinatubo aftermath. Okay, anong connection ito kay Jenny Lynn Barreto? Jenny Ann. Jenny Ann. I thought of metallurgical engineering, okay, kasi I said, pag naging astronaut ako, I would like to conduct experiments on how to make new alloy na pwede mo lang i-mix in zero gravity. Early on, I realized that metallurgic engineering is heavy on chemistry, which I did not like. Sabi to ni Barreto, right? Bago nila ako sipain out of the program, bago magbagsakan lahat ng grades ko, kasi I was on scholarship sa DOST, I have to go. And as luck or ill fate would have it, this was around the same time Mount Pinatubo exploded in 1991. While the explosion brought devastation for many, there was a silver lining for the sake of science. Wala kasing studies before that, so Pinatubo talaga opened the opportunity for a lot of scientists na volcanologists to study kung paano nagbe-behave ang lahat. Barreto ended up in an introductory course to geology, part of her curriculum, yes, but the timing could not have been better. Right after ng eruption, yung lahar covered Angeles, Pampanga. Hindi mo ma-recognize yung Pampanga dahil talagang natabunan, right? Pero the students, we got the opportunity to work as student assistants during the semestral break. We got to experience how it was to monitor kung may lahar events. On call ka, 24/7. Nakabase kami sa Subic Bay, says Barreto. They worked under the leadership of Dr. Kelvin Rodolfo, learning how it was to be on the field and monitoring something that was previously unstudied. I was hooked, sabi ni Barreto. So hindi lang ako ang nag-shift, ang daming nag-shift to geology nung panahon na yon. From engineering, physics, na-realize nila na mas gusto nila yung outdoor experience. Okay? Alright. Ayan siya, oh yeah. This is, okay, let me just show you again. Her picture na nagtuturo, no? Sensya na. This is her teaching. Okay. Let me just show you. I think okay. All right, the geologist. Okay, so there she is, itong si Jenny Ann. Marami siyang ginagawa para makatulong sa community. And you have to admire her for her diligence, diba? Okay. Yan, nagtuturo pa siya. There you go. There she is. Yan, nag-lecture siya. Ayan siya yung geologist na si Jenny Ann Barreto. So, going back to what we were saying, so hindi lang ako nag-shift. Ang daming nag-shift to geology at the time from engineering and physics, na-realize nila na mas gusto nila yung outdoor experience. Ayun po si Jenny. Okay? Working as a volunteer geologist at Genadev, a local NGO, Barreto speaking to residents of a barangay in General Nakar, Quezon in 2005 about the Agos River Buffer Zone project. Okay? Years on her career, si Barreto says those days still reign as one of the most exciting para sa kanya. It was so exciting, in fact, that she and her fellow students were in danger of not graduating. Masyado silang na-engross sa kanilang ginagawa, no? Muntik na hindi kami magtapos kasi gusto namin mag-work na lang, she shares. Wow. Sana all right. Explaining that they were paid volunteers. Thankfully, they were told that if you want a career in this one, kailangan gumraduate kayo. Okay? So, Barreto went back and duly finished her studies, setting her off down a path that would pass through, but certainly not pass, or not stop, at Benham Rise and the Apolaki Caldera. What the Apolaki Caldera means? Okay, anong ibig bang sabihin nitong Apolaki? Hindi naman Apolaki. I think it's Apolaki. Apolaki Caldera, right? Pardon me if I'm mispronouncing it. It's either Apolaki, meaning Apo is an elder bang, ibig sabihin yan. Lucky is big, right? So, Barreto and several other authorities and bodies were tapped to help prove from a scientific standpoint that the Benham Rise, a formation characterized by a broad elevation that generally rises gently and smoothly from the surrounding relief off the coast of eastern Luzon, is a part of the Philippines. This was in the late 2010s, but it was only in 2012 that the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea laid judgment, and yes, they concluded that Barreto and the team had successfully shown that indeed Benham Rise is a part of the Philippines. Okay? Let's fast forward to 2014. Okay, that was 2012. Barreto had been hired to work abroad, but while waiting for them to be set off to the field, she randomly decided to review their studies on the Benham. In my boredom, nakapag-research din tuloy ako, sinabi niya. Volcanic in nature ang rise. Nag-identify lang kami ng ibang volcano in Benham Rise that we felt showed yung argument namin, right? Okay. This meant that she had forgotten something very basic taught to geologists. She admits that basic lesson, to put it plainly, is to look at the big picture of things, okay? So imagine her surprise when she finally literally zoomed out on their graphs and saw what looked like a massive impact crater. Hindi naman napansin yon, sinabi ng kausap niya, no? I had to find an explanation. Her mind had flown straight to an impact crater because of that time. Wala pang volcanic crater noon na bigger than Yellowstone, which is 60 kilometers wide. Yet the possibility was there. She ended up showing it to a few of her colleagues whom she had worked with on Benham Rise previously, Ray Wood and John Wilson. Okay, hold on. So ayan o, there's another picture here na si Barreto and Wilson conducting a gravity survey sa Palawan in 2008. So matagal na niyang ginagawa ito. The team spent 2014 to 2018 gathering open source data and using what equipment they could, all on the side before finally dropping the paper in 2019. The discovery was massive for the scientists. The eruption must have been huge to produce such a big crater structure, and that would have an effect on climate at the time. Okay, this would have been millions of years ago. The last time it erupted would be around 25 million years ago, explains Barreto. This information would be very careful, and you need not mention it. This information would be very useful, not to mention exciting for folks tracking how the Earth has changed through time. Okay? Siyempre naman, hindi naman tayo magbagawa ng useless exercise. Diba? Dapat meron man, that's, okay? So, ito nga itong sinasabi ko na discover nitong si Jenny Ann, okay? The eruptions must have been huge to produce such a big crater structure, and that had an effect on the climate. Okay, this would have been millions of years ago. The last time it erupted would be around 25 million years ago. Ang tagal, 25 million years. This information would be very useful, not to mention exciting. Okay, of course, for folks tracking how the Earth has changed through time. Ano naman to para sa mga common na tao na maintindihan itong explanation na to. And for the layman, well, Barreto assures us hindi na siya puputok. That's one thing. Wow. So, hindi na puputok yung Tarlac. Alright. Tarlac yung Taal. Well, aside from zero explosions though, Barreto says that the nature of a caldera presents many economic opportunities. Okay? Hindi pa kasi viable ngayon, but yung mga minimal present day on land for gold, copper, zinc, they are usually found in ancient volcanoes. It is possible that Benham Rise is hosting a whole candidate siya to host those kinds of metals in the future. Pag siguro hindi na ganun kamahal ang mag-extract ng metals underwater, mas maganda na yung studies on how to prevent environmental impact. Barreto says that, she adds that that it's about time the government looks into updating the permits we give to our people exploring our waters. Okay, anybody who would want to explore should ask permission and should pay the Philippine government for permits. Tama lang ba? Which we don't. Wala tayong laws and regulations on exploration tsaka pagmimina ng mga minerals. Meron tayong regulations sa petroleum, but not for mining. So maybe we should prepare it now, right? So maybe in the future, it can be a source of wealth for Filipinos. Barreto concludes, knowing that it is ours. Okay? Well, once again, regarding geology in the Philippines, the path Barreto is on isn't typical, it must be admitted. While her contemporaries back in college set off on more secured and assured lucrative paths, think about medicine, but she chose geology. Still, she has been in the industry since 1995 and has seen the changes. Back then, kung geology ang choices sa Pilipinas, hindi ganun karami. I think now it's different. There are a lot of choices, maraming geologists and practitioners na hindi kailangan mag-field. Although, of course, they still want to. And because of IT, yun na nga, technology has allowed a lot of things, especially mga remote working or yung mga working out on field pa rin tinatry. Pwede na niyo control everything sa cellphone nyo lang, okay? Okay? Okay, so itong si Anna at si Jenny Ann Barreto said she chose geology, bata pa lang siya. She still has been in the industry since 1995 and has seen the changes back then. Kung geology ang choice sa Pilipinas, hindi ganun karami. I think now it's different. There are a lot of choices, no? Maraming geologists na practitioners ngayon na hindi kailangan mag-field. Although, of course, they still want to, and because of it, but they're not into it so much. And the geographical information systems they can practice is tool using tools. They can go anywhere. So folks can now go into more varied fields of geology in the Philippines. Think hazards or even marine science. Mas marami pang opportunities na makikita. Okay? And as for Barreto, who is headed next, well, Jenny Ann Barreto is currently based in New Zealand, working with GNS Science, but spends her time continuing research on the Philippines. With all the new technology and open source data, her latest project is to answer a question, okay, you might have asked yourself, why is Luzon bent that way, right? If you notice yung Luzon or the Philippines, he asked yourself once, why is Luzon bent that way? If you notice, okay, yung Luzon or the Philippines itself, para siyang may scoliosis. Tabing siya. Tabingi siya. Wala pang nasusulat ano yan, dahilan kung ano yung cause niya. Right? So there's no saying what Barreto or perhaps a new league of Pinoy scientists might discover next. Okay? There is a whole lot left on Earth about the Philippines, but you can rest assured Barreto is going to stop anytime soon. Okay? She says, my heart is still with the Philippines. Okay, all right. Rightfully so. Okay, so now let's try to move on. Okay, so yeah, very good news about that Filipina, right? Okay. All right, let's go into other countries' news naman, no? All right, here's one that says, Meta sales of virtual goods in Metaverse. Ano ibig sabihin? All right. Let me just show you. Okay. Hold on, please. Ayan. Ito na si geologist. Sabi ka na lang muna. Ito na ang ating news today. Meta test sale of virtual goods in Metaverse. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Ang relevance niyan sa atin? Pasensya na lang po, sandali lang. Alright, Meta test sale of virtual goods in Metaverse. Okay. According to a news clip in San Francisco, Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, will give content creators the opportunity, okay, to sell virtual items in Horizon Worlds. Its main plain platform po sa universe. Itong sinabi nila na ang Metaverse po or Meta company na dating Facebook will give content creators the opportunity to sell virtual items to users in Horizon Worlds. Its main platform in the Metaverse, okay? Ito po yun. For example, someone could make and sell attachable accessories. Diba? All right. For a fashion world to offer paid access to a new part of the world, a Californian tech group said in a press release. The metaverse, touted by Meta and other companies as the future of the internet, consists of a self-spilled parallel universe. Okay? Diba? So, don't worry about it too much, but it already exists in a basic way, okay, to metaverse. in the form of video games such as Minecraft, Fortnite, and Roblox, and social platforms such as Horizon Worlds and VR Chat, where people come together not only to pay, but also to interact and participate in events. Okay? So ano pong mga tina-target natin to? Meta, whose income is overwhelmingly dependent on large-scale targeted advertising, kaya nga yung Twitter nagreklamo na, diba? Meta, whose income is overwhelmingly independent on a large-scale dedicated advertising, has made its mission to make a major contribution, to the emergence of the metaverse and is stalking out its place, on the second, it is taking out its place in the next battle for public's attention, To the end, the social networking giant is seeking to attract current creators who are likely in turn to attract more users, Kaya lang talaga, it just got out of hand. Itong metaverse, it had already set a 10 million fund for creators on Horizon in October, where more than 10,000 different worlds already exist according to the company. With regards to digital goods and services, mabalik tayo dyan. Of course, that involves a lot of technology. While we are launching this today as a test with a handful of creators to get their feedback, these types of tools are steps towards our long-term vision for the metaverse, where creation can earn a living and people can purchase digital goods, services and experiences. Well, we gotta admit that thank God for technology, we are able to keep our sanity because we are able to broadcast here for you today, much less share and learn from each other. So with regards to digital, while we're launching this today as a test, we are launching this today as a test with a handful of creators to get their feedback. These types of tools are steps towards our long-term vision for the metaverse, where creatures can earn a living and people can purchase digital food, digital goods, services, and experiences. Yan ang sinabi ni Meta. Regarding bonuses, the company also plans to test bonuses for creators who achieve certain goals, such as building worlds that attract the most people. So the company also plans test bonuses for creators. Test bonus lang who achieve certain goals, such as building worlds with the building worlds that attract the most time spent. Pero kasi more often than not, yung mga gatos sa bahay na nakakarton, ginagamit ko pagluto. That's why nag-hesitate siya. But anyway, the latest tech news delivered to your inbox. These bonuses will be subject to fees and will be paid to creators in full. Nung sinabi ni Meta, unlike revenue from virtual items, which is subject to commission. So walang commission to mga nare-receive ng player. Buti naman hanggang kailan kaya. The bonuses will not be subject to fees and will be paid to creators in full, Meta said, unlike revenue from virtual items, which is subject to commission. Alright? Horizon's World has more than 300,000 users in the United States and Canada, according to an article by the specialized The Verge, published in February. Next, nag-hang po kasi yung computer ko kaya hindi ko maayos-ayos. Alright. The next order of this morning, pasensya na po kayo kasi my computer is really hanging. Alright. What else do we have? Well, let's just go to international news, because I'm trying to open the books, but it just won't open. Alright. Oh, not this one. Why did I talk about the marriage of these two Korean actors. There you go. South Korea drops most COVID restrictions as cases fall. Alright? Tingnan ko nga. It's two